There are places where the line between the living and the dead is not a wall. It is a veil, thin, fluttering, like it moves when something unseen breathes right behind you. Tonight, the archive takes you deep into the Colorado Rockies, to a bright white hotel that looks almost holy against the wild, dark mountains around it. Historical records, police logs, staff incident notes, and witness accounts that still shake when people tell them. This is the documented haunting of the Stanley Hotel. Before we go inside, subscribe, turn on the notification bell, and join the archive, because the next entry might hit closer than you think. Estes Park is gorgeous now, but in the early 1900s, it was quiet in a way that felt wrong. Wind sliding through the valley with a sound that can land on your skin like a voice. In 1903, Freelan Oscar Stanley arrived here sick with tuberculosis. Doctors told him to come for the air, basically to get comfortable while time ran out. But the mountains did not finish him off. They rebuilt him. So he built something back, a luxury palace in the middle of nowhere. Construction started in 1907. The Stanley Hotel opened in 1909 with electricity, telephones, and private bathrooms, in a place where the wilderness still felt like it owned the road. And for a while, it was champagne and summer laughter. But when the seasons emptied the halls, the building did not feel empty. It felt occupied. People love to bring up Stephen King. He stayed here in 1974 in room 217 when the hotel was nearly closed for winter. He had a nightmare so vivid he woke up choking on fear, and the bones of the Shining snapped into place. But the Stanley was not inspired into being haunted. It was already active. Room 217 had a name long before any bestseller: Elizabeth Wilson, head housekeeper. June 25th, 1911. A storm knocked out the power, staff lit gas lamps, and a leak filled room 217. Elizabeth walked in with a candle. The explosion ripped through the west wing. The floor dropped out beneath her. She fell into the room below. Broken ankles, trauma, and somehow she lived. She recovered, and she kept working at the hotel for decades. Guests say she never stopped. In room 217, single men report waking up to find their bags packed, clothes folded, shoes lined by the door. Like a firm, polite message from a woman who still runs her floor. Unmarried couples report something colder. A sudden freezing presence wedged between them in bed. A shove to the edge of the mattress. Not a scream in your face scare. Something worse. A stranger enforcing rules in your most private moment. One businessman in the late 1990s checked in as a skeptic. Numbers, logic, no ghost stories. He set his shoes near the wardrobe and went to sleep. Then, thud. Silence. Thud. Silence. He opened his eyes. In the dark, at the foot of his bed, his shoes lifted and dropped, one at a time, like invisible hands testing gravity just to prove they could. He did not run. He could not. The next morning, he checked out and refused to return. Elizabeth is only one presence. Downstairs in the music room, people report Flora Stanley. Elegant, quietly in charge. In life, she loved the piano. After her death in 1939, staff still hear it. In deep winter, when the hotel is almost empty, security guards hear real piano notes drifting through closed doors. When they step closer, the music cuts off. The room is empty. The piano lid is down, but the wood feels warm and the strings still hum like a song just ended. Investigators have even recorded music no one heard in the moment, then played it back. And there it is. A trained hand, clean tempo, not random creaks. And then the fourth floor. It used to be the attic. Servants, nannies, children. Hot in summer, freezing in winter. Now it is a long hallway of rooms where the air can change in a few steps. People say it feels thicker up there, like you are walking into someone else's mood. Room 418 is the hot spot. Housekeeping makes the bed, locks the door, walks away, then hears sounds of children playing. When they open it again, the bed is stripped, pillows tossed, little dents in the mattress like someone small was bouncing. Guests complain about running above them until they learn there is no room above 418. Just roof, just night sky. A family in the early 2000s stayed there with 2 young kids. In the dark, the parents woke to their children giggling, talking to someone in the corner. The father clicked on the lamp. Empty corner. He asked who they were speaking to. The little girl pointed and said, "The little boy in the blue suit. He wants to play." They left before sunrise. And on that same floor, the tone shifts again in room 401, tied to a presence people call Lord Dunraven, an Irish nobleman connected to land around Estes Park. Accounts describe an arrogant, heavy energy that targets women with intimidation and unwanted closeness. Guests report the feeling of someone leaning in behind them, a hand on a shoulder, the air turning sour with pipe tobacco and bay rum cologne. One woman staying alone for a conference said she woke up unable to move, with a crushing weight pressing into her chest, hot breath near her ear, a low animal sound. Then it lifted like someone stood up and stepped away. She ran to the lobby shaking. Security found nothing, but the odor lingered. And it is not just the main building. On the grounds, the concert hall has its own file of incidents. In the basement, workers and investigators report a voice that barks, "Get out!" A presence nicknamed Paul, like a strict night watch who never clocked out. There are recordings too, a captured hello in a silent room, followed by footsteps across floorboards that should have been empty. And then there is Lucy, a homeless woman, said to have sheltered in that basement during a brutal winter and never made it out. Investigators leave small gifts and hear a faint humming in return. A sad, steady sound that makes you picture someone trying not to be alone. So why here? Why so strong? Researchers point to the stone tape theory, the idea that certain minerals can hold emotional energy like a recording. The Stanley sits on granite rich with quartz, a mountain of stone that behaves like a battery. Add a century of joy, fear, isolation, accidents, and loss, and you get a place that does not forget. In the modern era, guests catch things on phones, a staircase photo with a figure in old-fashioned black, and a child beside her. A panoramic blur with a translucent shape near a pillar, like someone still watching their territory. Staff on night shift do not debate whether it is haunted. They trade notes on who is active. And under the hotel, a narrow service tunnel turns that dread into something physical. Damp rock, pipes, whispers that feel like they come from inside the walls. One tour group learned the hard way that this is not a stage show. In the billiards room, a guest mocked the stories, challenged whatever was listening. A heavy glass ashtray shot across the room and shattered against the wall, close enough to make the message clear. The Stanley is beautiful. It is historic. It is welcoming, until it is not. It is a hotel built for the living that became a sanctuary for the dead. And the dead do not always want company. So if you ever stand in those bright halls at midnight, listen. If the silence shifts, if the air turns cold, if you smell pipe tobacco where none should exist, do not assume you are alone. Like the video, subscribe, and share your own documented encounters in the comments, because the archive is always listening, and the veil is never as thick as you want it to be. So after everything we just covered, the ghostly apparitions, the phantom piano music, and the isolating dread that inspired Stephen King's The Shining, you're probably wondering, what exactly is the vibe at the Stanley Hotel today? Well, my personal take on the Stanley right now is that it's a fascinating paradox. If you drive up into the Rocky Mountains of Estes Park, Colorado today, expecting to find a desolate, terrifying, and empty overlook hotel, you're going to be surprised. Because the Stanley isn't some abandoned, rotting, haunted house. It is a massive, gorgeous, and incredibly busy luxury resort. Instead of hiding from its dark history, the hotel fully embraces it, but in a highly commercial and glamorous way. You can take official night spirit tours, visit the underground caves, and yes, you can even request to stay in the infamous Room 217. But good luck with that. It's usually booked out months, sometimes even years, in advance by hardcore horror fans. Honestly, from my perspective, the real atmosphere at the Stanley today feels more theatrical than genuinely terrifying. While some guests and staff do still report unexplainable events or phantom footsteps in the hallways, the sheer volume of tourists wandering around with EMF readers kind of drowns out that creeping sense of isolation that made the place so scary in the first place. It's hard to feel like you're in a horror movie when you're sipping a craft cocktail in a packed, beautifully lit lobby. The Stanley Hotel will always be a monumental piece of horror history, but today, it's more of a paranormal playground than a living nightmare.